Okay, Eric, so we're out here in the garage and we got this area. Crofton, you want to explain what we did here?
We pulled down a fluorescent tube fixture that was up here, and there's a hole that goes up through a vapor barrier, which is just craft face insulation. So we're suspicious that there may be some kind of transfer of air happening there. As you'll see, we cut up a floorboard and there's no sign of water on the pink paper that's underneath it. So that kind of takes water out of the equation.
And then also, Crofton, you were thinking that there might be something. We got this radon tube.
Yeah, so the radon tube goes right through the joist bay as far as we can tell where the apex of the hump is in the floor. So come suspicious of that maybe bleeding air into that cavity, which would possibly be sucking humid air out of the slab. So we're kind of grasping at straws now, but having eliminated liquid moving to the area on the subfloor, it's got to be some kind of a atmosphere problem.
And there were two things you were thinking about, Crofton, right? One was that there could be moist air from the garage coming in through that crack right there into the floor. And then the other thing you mentioned was because the radon air is under pressure from a fan below, bringing cold, moist air from underground and pushing it through that pipe, that if the joints aren't good inside, that maybe there's some air coming out of this pipe under the floor?
Yeah, if there's a 90 like in that bay, it could be leaking. I mean, I don't know.
Because where that pipe goes in, the main hump is pretty much right there. And this is the whole cantilevered area, right? And so the hump is right here, right?
Yeah.
And then so that there is actually back set into the room, right? So that there's eye joists that are going this way on either side of that.
I assume that would make sense.
So one possibility is, as that makes that 90-degree curve, you were thinking maybe as the air is coming out, if it's bleeding somehow internally, that it might be coming up and in between those eye joists and then getting into this area, which is the cantilevered part of the room, and the hump being right over, pretty much right there, that it could be maybe something under pressure from the radon?
From the radon pipe, or it could simply be that hole that was bored through for the pipe is allowing enough air exchange between that bay cavity and the garage, two different atmospheres.
Right.
So there's some kind of condensation thing happening if the inside is under AC conditions and the outside is warm and humid, and we have that hole there.
Right.
That could be causing that bay to be excessively moist. It's beyond our measuring capability. I mean, we pulled a board up and it's dry. Like there's no water anywhere.
Okay, let's go up into the room and do some video up there. Okay, so we're here in the room, and Crofton's taken out the piece of flooring that's right at the apex.
You can see the pink paper is pretty pristine looking.
Yeah.
Subfloor looks pretty normal. No sign of any kind of, long-term leak or even short-term.
Yeah, I mean, we see a little stain there, but we think that was on the wood before it was installed, because as you can see, there's nothing on the paper to correspond to that. Okay, I'm sorry, you were saying, Crofton?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's got to get through the plywood, and it's a mystery.
But it looks like, from what we can see here, there's no water intrusion coming from the direction of the bathroom. I mean, because this paper is bone dry.
Or from anywhere, for that matter.
Yeah, from anywhere,
no sign
yeah.
of water.
Exactly, especially that paper is the biggest indicator. So,
And the back of the door.
yeah,
Pristine looking.
exactly, yeah. We're gonna do some moisture readings here, Eric.
So putting it right into the subfloor, stuck it in pretty good. I'm getting 13 and a half up to 14 when I put pressure on it. So
Okay.
almost 14% moisture. Back of the maple flooring, it's coming in at, it's pretty hard to get the prongs in, but 10.
Okay.
So that's in this room, and we went in the room next door, and there's a block on the floor that is quite dry in the crawl space, and we're getting 6, 7 on that.
Okay. And then we came around and we did some stuff on the inside here.
The pine paneling on the wall, we're registering 8, 9, which is, you know, seems kind of right.
Okay.
That 8.9, that seems plausible. So I'd say the meter is doing its job. But the plywood inside being 14, that seems like something's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're in the garage. We're on the support for the freezer. Okay, so we're at 12 and a half. So what do you figure that is? Because it's just the moisture from the outside here?
Yeah, I'd say that's ambient.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Okay, and this is stairway going in, 12.8.
yeah. So I don't know if we're uncovering. There's a piece of identical looking plywood as to the subfloor. So
And
that's
that's at 14.
measuring what we're measuring up there on the inside.
Okay. Okay, so we're looking at the sheetrock now and the ceiling underneath the radon pipe.
So that bay is reading 11.8.
Okay, 11.8 in the sheetrock.
Go over to a random spot away from that bay, and I'm getting 8.4,
Wow.
8.6.
And we're going closer. It's getting wetter.
10.
Okay. Then we're right under the radon. Now it's up to
13.
13. So the closer we're getting to the radon, the higher it is. Now what if you go on the other side of that pipe, Crofton?
Still going up.
Still going up. Wow, 14, yeah. Okay. Come over yet further. $13, okay. Now bring it just on the other side, closer to the pipe, but on the same side of the pipe, yeah,
Like there.
yeah. Yeah, so it seemed to peak just around where the pipe is and then start to fall off again. Interesting, okay.
Yeah. So check again. Far, far away. 13, 13.3. Yeah, 13.7. I don't know. If the ceiling's strapped, I just don't know.
Yeah,
Getting similar readings. I mean, you know, that right there is 14.4. That was set on wood. Yeah, I don't know what. Maybe we're just chasing our tail. Yeah, so it's weighted a little bit lower on the other setting. That's the only difference.
Eric. So I found my little endoscopic camera with the light on it, and we stuck it in through the opening in the bedroom under the floor, and everything there looks bone dry. The bottom of the wood as well as the paper looks in pristine condition. So I think we could rule out any sort of water for sure coming in there, because there's no signs of obvious, heavy water, no mold, nothing like that. I'm going to show you the film here, which doesn't have any sound on it, but that's the camera going in through the hole and looking around under the floor. Okay, now we're going to take a look at some videos that we took with the heat sensing camera and see if that shows us anything. Maybe we see a little bit of an indication around the lip of the pipe when it's coming out of into the garage, but we can't really tell. Okay, so we're doing a video here, so Eric will see this whole thing with our voices. This is the pipe that's got the radon gases coming through it. So the dark purple means that it's cooler than the rest of the room. And you can see the fluorescent light on there. Now if we move it, Crofton, right up against the opening there, you see you got this here on the bottom. It's like a coolness there. I don't know if that's anything or not. It does kind of look like that dark seam like in here. Doesn't that look cooler?
Yeah. Look at those two little dark areas.
Yeah,
where
right
like,
here.
Is there bleed out coming in that area that's causing that to be? That's where I was trying to feel, if I could feel any cooling on my wet hand.
Yeah, well, look at how that seems to have changed.
Where you touched it.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I warmed it up just rubbing it with my finger.
It's fading.
Yeah. And you see a couple of dark spots along that junction there, yeah. Seems like something's going on there. Okay, let's go upstairs.
So we're up in the attic where the pipe comes up. And it disappears into the ceiling. Still see it just showing it's cooler, bringing up the ambient air from the slab.
So that's coming along here somehow, right? Because from here, it's doing that, right? Because it goes down, it goes along.
Yep.
It's doing out, and then along, and then it's going across and down.
Jeez, I'm picking up variations in the floor up here.
Could that be just where we were standing? Maybe from our feet, the heat from our feet?
Yeah. What if let me go back even further and see what the whole room looks like. Yeah.
That's the electronics there.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that looks,
Okay, yeah.
to my I'm not exactly
We came down here and looked at this radon system here, and we think that this is looking like the most promising culprit. We looked at this gauge here to make sure the suction was where it was. We actually need to call the guy because we needed to recalibrate it, but it's exactly where he had it before. So we're getting the proper level of suction out of that. But then we talked to him about, well, is there a possibility that this line could be leaking? And he said, absolutely, could be a problem, that there is moisture that gets picked up in here, and it is a factor. He said if there's anything where a joint came loose or whatever, there could be some moisture coming out of this. And the place where this comes right under the flooring is right where that bulge is. And so we think that could be the culprit. So we have the endoscopic camera that we could put in and try to examine that. So maybe we could take a look at doing that. Also, the guy said he'd be happy to stop by and take a look at it. So I'll send him some pictures and see if he can do that.